Hi there, welcome back. Hey, I'm going to record this video for a third time. And sorry about the wind, but apparently the microphone, the lavalier mic wireless that I bought, well, that's a piece of crap. And I've shot this twice. One, you could just barely hear the audio. The second time, you couldn't hear it at all. So we'll run through it one more time. Anyway, here's all of the nasty that got cut out of this golf cart. Yes, we're doing an upgrade or update for you on the golf cart. But yeah, every stitch of wire that was in this cart got pulled out. Everything. There wasn't a piece of copper left in there. And so we'll go over here and take a look. I have gotten quite a bit done since the last update. We're going to start up here. I do hand lace the wiring loom that goes up underneath. I doubt if I want to lay down here and try to show you where it's run down there, but it is laced and up here. I've got the ignition switch connected and it's intermittent, so I've got a new one ordered. But I've got the lights, headlights is up here, and then the green wire will tie into that, and it feeds back here. I'll show you in a minute, and that'll power up the tail lights. Whenever the headlight switch is turned on, it'll turn on the tail lights at the same time. I got the steering column sanded and painted. I haven't put the wheel back on yet. I want to try to verify the alignment on the front end here before I put it all back together. Make sure the steering wheel is pointing straight up when we're done. As far as what we got going in here, of course, we've got the typical batteries that you've seen before, and everything in here is brand new. Every single bit of it. It's a new solenoid with the diode and the pre-charge resistor on it. And the PB6, the throttle body, I put back the way it was when it came from the manufacturer. It's actually this controller, the way it's programmed, I was able to, well, I shouldn't say hack into it, but I was able to connect my computer to it and verify the programming, so it actually takes a 0 to 9K instead of a 0 to 5K in reality. But it works. And so anyway, I redesigned the forward reverse shifter. I know a lot of people that do these upgrades do the electronic, it's just a couple of different solenoids, and that's great. There's nothing wrong with that, but this shifter works fine the way it is. I just needed to change how it worked, so to speak. So anyway, all I did was, you can't really, it's hard to see down here, but it used to be two different connections, and when you were in reverse, one of them was feeding a lower voltage to the motor and in a reverse direction, of course, so that it wouldn't go as fast in reverse as it would in forward. Well, that's not fun at all. So anyway, I just put an aluminum bus behind here, and so it just gets the battery connection coming in here and going out. This one goes out to the motor, and then the stator gets polarity switched depending on which way you're going. It switches the polarity between here and down here. It works great, and I'll show you here in just a minute. It's got an interlock on it so that the controller comes on when both of the, well, it's got to have the key switch on. This has to be in either forward or reverse in order for it to make connection. And then there's also on the PB6 throttle mechanism down here, there's a micro switch here that is also interlocked. So if we listen carefully, I don't know if you can hear it over the wind, but anyway, that switch also activates. So there's key lock and forward or reverse, and the throttle has to engage. Those are the interlocks that gives power to the controller. The controller is a Curtis clone. It would be like a Curtis model 1204. It's a clone, and seems to work fine. Like I said, I was able to connect a laptop and got in and looked at the programming on it, and I thought maybe I could tweak it, make it go a little faster, but that could lead to other problems, so I didn't do that. Anyway, it's pretty straightforward design. I struggled with it when I first hooked it up. It wasn't working, and I was pretty worried. And then I discovered, you can't really see it down here, but there's a A2 connection down in here that isn't used in a older unit like this. That's basically just used in newer carts that have like a regenerative braking or whatever. There's some other function it does. And I disconnected that, I moved 2 cables, and everything started working great. It has, like I do with all my other upgrades, there's a relay here. This is a 36 volt relay. When the key switch is turned, this fires and applies 36 volts over here to the DC to DC converter, and then that puts out 12 volts down to the power distribution, 12 volt distribution, which right now I've only got 1 circuit hooked up, and that's for the headlights. So there's 3 circuits on here. Whoever ends up buying this cart will have, they can put up to three more things that'll run off this DC to DC converter. And there's enough room here. You could put in one of the units that has six connections on it. There wouldn't be any issues with doing that. It would actually be a pretty quick change. This is the 12 volt. Point at the right part. 12 volt minus negative bus here, so the headlights negative and taillights will be connected here. And let's see, that's about it. I mean, I still use the wire lever nuts to make all of the connections because it's just so much faster. But yeah, so that's what we've done for electronics. As far as body work goes, I've got a lot of the sanding done on it still, but I got a lot to do. And I'm debating. I cleaned up the plastic up here. This goes on here. I'm thinking I'm going to just paint this all black in here and match all this. And the reason I say that is right here. Of course, this isn't attached yet, but you can tell we're going to have red all around here. But then this part here, and then these parts will be down here. Will be black, so it's just going to be a red and black card. I think that's what we're going to do for sure. And let's just see if I can make this baby run here real quick. I'm going to put it in forward and turn the key on. I'm sure you didn't hear that, but I just heard the relay fire. And okay, so we're in forward. And so that switch right there is made up. So I'm going to push down on the accelerator. We'll watch it in here. I know, pretty exciting, right? Actually, I'm pretty excited about it because this thing started out as a toaster. Basically, those coils of wire get real hot. Is the way this used to work. We throw her in reverse here real quick. So that's actually a pretty awesome deal in my world, because I took something that had used to operate kind of like an old style forklift and changed it to something in the 21st century. So what I got left to do for wiring, I still need to hook up the battery meter, and it's a signal wire for that. And then the headlights, I can't really do headlights and taillights until I get the paint done, because I need to install the headlights up front. I don't really want to do the wiring until those are installed and I know how much wire to use and so on. And with, as you can hear, the wind is prevalent, and the forecast isn't looking good for a calm day to get any painting done. Plus I got quite a bit of sanding left to do. The old pinstriping is on here. That needs to be, that's all needs to be sanded down. So, and then if anybody's got suggestions on this aluminum, this 35-year-old aluminum, extruded aluminum, and it looks like 35-year-old aluminum. I don't know if there's a chemical process I can use that brighten these up. As far as sanding and polishing, I can do that on the exterior, but this has got these channels in it, as extruded aluminum does. And I'm just not going to do that much polishing on the thing, so if somebody's got some idea, I sure would appreciate learning how to do that. I've tried like a wire brush or wire wheel on a Dremel, and that's going to take a long time too, so I need to do something with it, and then the floor mat will get a good scrubbing and so forth. So anyway, alright, that's enough rambling and wind noise. I'll leave it for now. I'll throw some pictures up here and let you see some of the stuff I got done while you were waiting for this update, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Hey, I just want to do a quick show and tell on part of this restoration project on the golf cart, the 1990 club car. When you have vinyl that has been out, or plastic pieces that's been out in the sun for long periods of time, a lot of times you end up with something like this. This is actually brown plastic, and I've already kind of started the process back here just so you can see a contrast. But you end up with something like this. Now I scrubbed this with a soap and water and a little stiff bristle brush and cleaned it. So there's no actual dirt on there, but it won't clean this. So there's a couple of ways to fix this. There's polish that you can get to go over it. It's like a rubbing compound, and it takes quite a bit of work, but you can get it scrubbed down. You can also take what I'm about to do. You can use a heat gun. And be real careful with these though, because you can let's say reconfigure a piece pretty quick with one of these, which is also true of my preferred method, but after a little practice it works pretty well. A lot of you probably already know this trick, but for those that don't, I'm going to take a propane torch. Got her locked on. It doesn't need to be much. It's really hard to see in the video. You can tell there's a flame there. Run her down to not much of a flame. We'll start back here, and you can hopefully you can see a difference almost instantly. Now you don't want to linger. It's like the plastic, I don't know, breaks a sweat. The problem you get into is down here in these cracks and crevices. So you hit it a little bit and then move on, and then let it cool some, and then come back and hit it again. Now this is the part that no one's ever going to see, obviously, so we're just doing a little practice back here on the back of it. It's kind of cool. Try to get you in frame here. You see, it looks kind of wet right on the surface. It may be actually melted, but it doesn't really deform any unless you linger too long, in which case it'll go, hey, you need to move along here. Okay, let's do some edges. Which hand placement is very important. We did that side, let's do this side. Now there's where the key switch goes, there's a label stuck on there, so you want to be extra careful around something like that, so you don't really want to damage that, or you could be trying to find a replacement for it. And something that's 35 years old is going to be potentially a little difficult to find some replacement parts. Yep. Watch for flames. Put them out as soon as you see them. When you get done with this, then you can come back with your polish, plastic polish kind of stuff. Flitz works good. Sometimes I just rub them down with WD-40 and call it good. Just depends on the material and where it's going to be located and that kind of thing. But this brings back the surface of the vinyl. We'll get in there as best we can without, like I said, reconfiguring. Alright, and I think that's it. Let's kill the torch here. And there's what we end up with. And like I said, now you can come in here and use, so I still got to touch it up here just a little bit, but you can come in here and use whatever your preferred kind of polish is, or if you got like wax of some kind that works. Of course I won't do the back, but the front part, I'll get this all cleaned off and stuff. This is where the battery monitor is going to end up being, so I'll have to do some body work and fill this back in. That's for later in the process. Just thought I'd share.